running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy?
Something strange is happening at Tesla. In a world where every minute of factory downtime costs millions, the company has suddenly halted production of two of its flagship models, the Model Y and Cybertruck, without any clear explanation or press statement. Just silence. This is not scheduled maintenance, supply chain issues, or force majeure. It's something bigger. The giant factory in Austin, the heart of Elon Musk's innovative empire, has suddenly fallen silent. Workers have been told to stay home, need paid leave, training, or, to be honest, an attempt to hide a problem that may be much more serious than it seems at first glance.
Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, right? You know.
And while the market is still reeling from this news, another blow emerges. Tesla is recalling more than 46,000 Cybertrucks. The reason? A piece of plastic and glue. A regular gas pedal, covered with the wrong compound, can jam and cause the car to race forward without stopping. This is not a software bug that can be fixed with an update. It's a physical problem, and now owners have to go to the service center in person in 2025.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
All this is happening amid rumors of overcrowded Model Y warehouses. The cars are sitting there, but they're not selling. And the Model Y is not an experiment. It's not a concept. It's the most mass-produced, most reliable car in Tesla's lineup. Or at least it was. Now the warehouses are full and the factories are silent.
Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Analysts are racking their brains. Is this just a temporary glitch or the beginning of the end? Can a company that built its reputation on speed, boldness, and cutting-edge solutions stumble on such a level playing field? Or has Musk decided to go all in and is preparing us for something bigger? Perhaps this move is part of a major reboot. Perhaps Tesla is abandoning the old to present something new to the world. But for now, it sounds more like consolation for investors than a strategy.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them, that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
Against this backdrop, the 13% drop in sales compared to last year looks particularly worrying. While BYD and Chinese competitors are moving forward at a rapid pace, Ford, Hyundai, and even Rivian are strengthening their market positions, and Tesla is laying off thousands of employees and losing momentum. This is no longer just news, it's a turning point. Tesla, which dictated the rules of the electric vehicle market, is now forced to catch up. And the question is louder than ever: what the hell is happening to Tesla? And more importantly, who will stop it? Stay with us. In the next few minutes, we'll reveal why Elon Musk's company could be on the brink of a systemic crisis and how it will affect everyone who has ever believed in the electric vehicle revolution.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
Tesla hasn't just paused production, it's turned off the lights at the heart of its electric vehicle empire. This isn't a planned shutdown, a minor technical glitch, or a supply chain disruption. It's the complete and silent cessation of production of two key models, the Model Y and the Cybertruck. This decision took even those who have been following Elon Musk's business maneuvers for years by surprise. In mid-May, at the height of preparations for the traditional summer sales boom, employees at the Austin Gigafactory, one of the most advanced manufacturing facilities in the world, were asked to stay home for the entire Memorial Day week. According to insiders, the notifications came unexpectedly, no prior instructions, no press releases, just a directive to use paid time off or attend optional training. Although Tesla has not officially stated the reasons for the shutdown, that sources within the company point to an internal crisis that is much more serious than the outwardly calm rhetoric would suggest.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government he's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
Formally, everything sounds neutral. Employees have been offered time off. Retraining is being conducted at the plant. But unofficially, it is an attempt to put out the fire without letting the smoke escape. For the first time in 9 years, Tesla has stopped production of its two most high-profile models at the same time. Moreover, according to one of the technical managers, containers with unused parts for the Model Y, shipped back in March, were spotted at the Gigafactory. Normally, the cycle from delivery of parts to assembly and shipment of the car takes no more than a week. Now there has been almost 2 months of downtime. One anonymous employee said that the parts tracking system was unexpectedly shut down and some of the equipment was mothballed until further notice. This means that this may not be a temporary suspension, but a partial shutdown of production lines for an indefinite period. Such actions are not taken spontaneously. They are either part of a deep restructuring or a reaction to a serious internal failure that the company is desperately trying to hide.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
From a market perspective, the Model Y shutdown looks particularly worrying. This is not an experimental platform or a niche product, it is a bestseller, a car on which a large part of Tesla's revenue depends. According to the latest data, the Model Y accounted for about 38% of the company's total sales in the first quarter of 2025. And yet, production has been suspended. And this is not happening in some secondary location, but in a key assembly center. At the same time, the Cybertruck assembly lines have been frozen, a vehicle that was supposed to become the new symbol of Tesla's bold innovation. Instead, the Cybertruck is becoming a symbol of failed expectations, and the Model Y is a sobering reminder that even the most stable lines can come to a halt without explanation.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker, but that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you'd see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, you know, the reports there are not encouraging.
Theoretically, one might assume that Tesla is using this moment to undertake a major production upgrade. But no company spokesperson has made such a statement. Moreover, the Wall Street Journal reported that the stock market was caught off guard. Tesla's shares fell 6% in the first few hours after the news of the shutdown broke, even though the company did not issue a single comment on the matter. This is the most frightening aspect of the situation, the lack of information disguised as strategic silence. And with more and more consumers complaining about delivery failures, service delays, and the inability to order certain configurations, this silence is beginning to seem less strategic and more crisis-driven.
Worse than expected, 336 and 68 vehicles, 336,068 vehicles delivered in the first quarter for Tesla. For a point of reference, the street was expecting, the street account was expecting, based on analyst expectations.
The situation is exacerbated by the fact that, according to insiders from Tesla's logistics division, hundreds of unsold Model Ys are piling up in the company's warehouses. Requests from dealers for discounts and delivery delays have doubled compared to last year. One battery supplier even claimed that Tesla suddenly cut orders in April without prior notice, causing a domino effect among Asian component suppliers. For the first time since 2018, Tesla's logistics chain has failed at the input stage rather than the output stage, not due to a shortage of parts, but because of an oversupply of finished cars.
A 371, most were saying 350 to 360. Now they're coming in at 336,068, production of 362,615. So for some point of reference here, you're going back to Q2, maybe Q1 of 2022 in terms of the last time that they had production this or deliveries this low for one quarter. So again, Tesla deliveries worse than expected at just over 336,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
That's horrible. Can I just ask Phil, how about the Cybertruck? How's that doing? You got a little inventory there in the Cybertruck?
All this is happening against a backdrop of increasing pressure from competitors. While Tesla remains silent and suspends production, China's BYD is expanding its share of the US market with ultra-cheap models with extended range. Ford and Hyundai, sensing the leader's weakness, have already launched aggressive advertising campaigns emphasizing time-tested reliability, an unmistakable reference to the Cybertruck's shaky reputation. A question that would have been considered blasphemous a year ago is increasingly being asked on investor forums. Have we overestimated Tesla's resilience?
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
No one knows how long this silence will last. There is no clear timeline. No comment from Elon Musk, except for a cryptic tweet. Pause is sometimes the start of a bigger push. But even those who believe in Musk as a visionary are feeling uneasy. Because over the past 10 years, Tesla has become accustomed to solving problems quickly, loudly, and publicly. And now only silence. And the longer it lasts, the closer the moment when the public will begin to perceive it not as a strategy, but as capitulation.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, of course, I'm going to respond. And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
Against the backdrop of Tesla's inexplicable production line stoppage, a much more disturbing story is emerging, a story of failure that is no longer hidden behind a veil of futurism. The Cybertruck, once billed as the car of the future, has become a real headache for the company. And it's not just about the design, which was first laughed at, then tried to be understood, and is now openly criticized even by loyal Tesla fans. The thing is, the release of this model turned into a chain of engineering and organizational failures, culminating in one of the largest and most embarrassing recalls in the company's history. More than 46,000 cars are being recalled because of what seems like a minor issue: the wrong adhesive used to attach the accelerator pedal. But the consequences of this minor issue could have been deadly. Dozens of users reported that the pedals stuck in the pressed position, getting stuck under the interior trim. In one case, according to a witness in Texas, a Cybertruck traveling at high speed failed to stop at an intersection, and only a lucky coincidence prevented an accident. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the situation itself speaks to a critical level of manufacturing defects. This defect cannot be fixed with a remote update. Owners are required to visit an authorized service center, and the repair queue is already booked up for months in advance. Some users claim that company representatives offered them monetary compensation for temporarily storing their cars in their garages until they could be serviced, just so they wouldn't pose a threat on the roads. In closed Tesla owner communities, there are active discussions about other Cybertruck defects, including water leaks through the corners of the windshield and problems with the adaptive suspension, which unexpectedly disengages in off-road mode. One former engineer, who wished to remain anonymous, said that more than 30 critical safety protocol violations were committed during the assembly of the model. The company allegedly rushed production, ignoring internal warning signs, just to meet the deadline promised by Musk. The result is a reality that does not live up to expectations.
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
If the Cybertruck was a technical failure, the situation with the Model Y is causing panic from an economic point of view. This model was Tesla's gold mine. It was assembled faster than others, sold better than others, and its profitability remained one of the highest in its class. But everything changed in just 6 months. The first signs of trouble appeared in March 2025, when offers for discounts on the Model Y began circulating on the market up to 12% off the recommended retail price. Tesla had previously viewed such moves as a sign of weakness and categorically rejected them. But now, it seems, the company simply has no choice. One dealer in Colorado said that the warehouse was already overflowing by mid-April. Model Ys are lined up in rows, some for 3 weeks without moving. At the same time, demand is not growing, despite promotions, preferential loans, and even the possibility of charging the car for free at Supercharger for a year. Consumers are losing interest. And it's not just about price or design, it's about competition.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
Against this backdrop, the market is beginning to buzz with rumors. One of them is that Tesla may freeze production of the Model Y until the end of the year and focus on a new, as yet unannounced platform, which, according to rumors, engineers in Germany are working on. Another is that the company is already preparing a contract with an external assembly outsourcing partner to reduce costs and shift some of the responsibility. Whatever the case, the reality is that Tesla's 2 key products, one has failed technically, the other is losing market share. And all this at the same time. That is why analysts who until recently were talking about temporary fluctuations are now talking about structural weaknesses in Tesla's model.
KTLA's Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
A company long considered a symbol of steady progress now seems unprepared to compete in a mature, oversaturated market. If its most reliable car is no longer selling and its newest model poses a safety threat, the question arises, does Tesla have a plan B? Or is all hope now pinned on Musk's vision, which is proving less and less effective than before? While public attention is focused on the Cybertruck debacle and the Model Y freeze, something far more disturbing is happening within the company itself. A slow but palpable internal shift that is undermining Tesla's former stability from within. In early April, Elon Musk personally confirmed a 10% reduction in the global workforce. This is not simply a staff optimization, as presented in the press release. It is a mass exodus of key specialists, including engineers, designers, analysts, and even middle managers who just a year ago were leading major production programs. According to a leak from a closed meeting in Fremont, one of the production directors said, "We can no longer maintain the previous pace without a guarantee of return on investment." Such a statement within Tesla sounds like an alarm bell. It is an admission that the company is starting to cut corners not on secondary things, but on the fundamentals.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will of course be the surveillance video, and investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off, and 16 cars burned in this fire, and right now investigators don't know what caused it.
At the same time, external pressure on the company is mounting. Against the backdrop of falling deliveries in the first quarter, Tesla is losing not only market share but also investor confidence. The largest institutional fund, which had invested more than $1.2 billion in Tesla, sharply reduced its position by 40% in May. At a closed meeting of analysts, this move was described as fear of systemic failure, and that's no exaggeration. When a company that's a leader in its industry suddenly loses not just one model, not just one country, but an entire strategic line, it's not just a crisis. It's a restructuring of identity.
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
And this is no longer just a business issue. It is a matter of reputation and the future of Tesla's very concept as a catalyst for progress. After all, if even Tesla can't do it, who can? And if its visionary loses focus, who will show the way forward? Today, more than ever before, Elon Musk's company is at a crossroads. This moment will either be a turning point or the beginning of the end of a legend that the world thought was invincible.